oftentimes I have tried to outsource this for the cheapest possible cost. However, the realization has flipped in my mind as of the last month that I'm doing our brand a massive disservice by trying to hire the cheapest outsourced person to manage the number one metric in my business. So, what
Yeah.
is this number one metric, right? It's John, what we're going to be talking about today is, I think, one of the most important things that anybody selling on Amazon should be focused on. Yet, this is the stepchild of every Amazon brand owner that I know of. And I admitted to this to you as well earlier, before we hit the record button, was that oftentimes I have tried to outsource this for the cheapest possible cost. However, the realization has flipped in my mind as of the last month that I'm doing our brand a massive disservice by trying to hire the cheapest outsourced person to manage the number one metric in my business. So, what
Yeah.
is this number one metric, right? It's that click-through rate. So, John, why don't you share with us, why is this click-through rate on Amazon the number one core KPI that anybody selling on Amazon should be focused on?
Yeah. So a lot of brands and a lot of agencies and consultants I speak to, whether at PickFu or Aspie, they really, really focus on the inside of the house is what I call it, right? So like that's the PDP, that's your A plus content, your brand story module, your all these premium A plus content, embedded video, carousels, all that kind of stuff. It's great. But what if no one goes through your front door and goes inside your house? Well, they're never going to see all that kind of stuff. So you just redid your kitchen. That's amazing with Italian granite and marble. But the outside of the house looks like, Freddy Krueger from Nightmare on Elm Street. No one's coming in. So that's the thing. You really want to make sure that your hero image is compelling. Is it a scroll stopper in a good way, not a scroll stopper in a bad way? We'll pull up some examples of what that looks like, but also telling all the information that someone needs to know to make that buying decision. Because when people shop, take yourself out of the equation. Anyone hearing this, and Josh, even yourself, right? We're all in the space, brand owners, service providers. And we look at it like, oh, well, yeah, you go here, you'll see this. This is all value. But how someone really shops, and I notice this when I watch my wife shop. She's always shopping, right? And she shops. She doesn't have a computer. She has a phone. So everything, 100% of her purchases are mobile. So I watch how she purchases, right? Like a weirdo. I'm just like creeping over her shoulder. And she just she'll scroll so fast. And I'm like, how are you looking at anything? She's like, nothing grabbed my attention. And then when she clicks and grabs her attention, you'll see what people do is they'll see that hero image, they'll land on the page, they'll look at the hero image again, they'll look at the price to see if they're willing to pay that, right? Then they'll look at the title to confirm that the image they like and the price they're willing to pay is indeed what they want. And then maybe they'll look at the reviews if it's not ridiculously low, right? Because otherwise people are leaving. And that's really, my wife does not look at A plus content. I showed her like all these things. She's like, I don't even know where that is. Because on mobile, everything is pushed down.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, right? It really, really, truly starts and sometimes ends with the hero image and CTR. So for a period of time in the supplement category, I think it was like for 3 or 4 months, Amazon was rolling out and testing buy now from the SERP, not add cart from the SERP, buy now from the SERP. And that was wild because that was your only shot. So if the guy next to you said everything in that hero image and the price was right and the reviews looked good, they were making the sale regardless of the actual PDP. I didn't even know you could go back on older YouTube videos and still edit the thumbnail. I thought it was a wrap once it was already up, but you can always be optimizing more and more. And the example you gave about Mr. Beast, which is like how many millions or if not whatever amount of money he's doing or giving away. My son's addicted to watching that show. But think about it like this, right? Think about like video sales letters or marketing funnels, right? That's like your hero image. So like with testing on PickFu, we have hundreds of businesses that don't even sell anything in Ecomm. It's wild, right? Because what they're doing is they're A/B testing their landing page for their offer, their landing page for their course. Stephen Pope even A/B tested when he did a refresh on My Amazon Guy. Does this hero image on the, when I say hero image, I mean hero image on the website, look better than this one? And we have people on PickFu A/B testing their Tinder profile photos, their LinkedIn profile photos, their LinkedIn banners. So the same way that a hero image is your first oomph, that's very technical, the oomph, your first kind of breakthrough into the product, is the same way your Tinder profile photo, your LinkedIn profile photo, your website landing page, because your website may be chock full of so many interesting things, but if I land on it and I'm like, what is this? I'm out of here, right? I'm never going to see that information. So you always want to make sure that you're testing before you invest, whether it's product on Amazon, thousands of dollars on a developer for an app or a site or anything like that. So I have Amazon open. I'm going to give you carte blanche to give me a category, and I'm going to pull that up. We're going to take a look at it.
All right, let's do desk calendars.
Ooh, I don't think I've ever looked at a desk calendar. Let's take a look at that.
All right.
Cool. Okay. So you're going to see my Helium 10 thing muck up everything. Helium 10 is great. When I say muck up, it just mucks up the SERP. So what you're going to see here, right away, right off the bat, is post edits, right? So I know right from here, this first one that's sponsored sold 400 units, $26. This one sold 600 units at $17. Yes, it's almost $10 cheaper. That could be the reason it's selling more units. Or the fact that it's telling me, without me having to really do anything more, that this is April 2025 to September 2026, and zoomed in on what the lines look like. I like that. If you're aiding in the customer experience, that's a good thing. Amazon's never going to penalize you. Now, if this call out here didn't say April 2025 to September, if it said the #1 bestseller, yeah, that's not aiding in the customer experience one bit. So as we continue over here, I like this a little bit more now on the third one, because guess what? Now it's telling me the size. So this is all information I need to know to make a buying decision. Technically, from this one right here, the third one in, I know from now, well, technically, I don't know what now is, so that's a little bit of a flaw there, right? To March 2026, I know that it's at least good till March 2026, and I know that it's 22 by 17 inches. So if that's exactly the size I want, I'm like, cool. But then you see here, down a little bit more, well, wait a minute, that's 22 by 17, and this goes to June. But this is $32. I don't know if I want to spend an extra, $15 for those extra couple of months. But then you see this one here, the fourth one in, this is not best practice. I'm actually shocked that this one's actually not image suppressed and it's actually a sponsored ad, which boggles my mind, because what people don't understand, there's two barriers you have to get through when updating a main hero image. The first one is just regular Amazon. It's just getting it up organically. You may find that you'll get a suppression. If you get a suppression, it's not the end of the world. Change a couple pixels. Change a couple pixels and resubmit it. Amazon, as great and monstrous as it is, just like seller support, just like customer support with Amazon, you ask one person, they say no, you hang up, you call back again, they're going to say yes. Or if they say no, you hang up and call back again. So brands and agencies need to understand, just because they say no, that's not it. They didn't close the book on it and you're done. You have to, when you're in the realm of playing these kind of tactics, I don't want to say games, but tactics, you need to be able to bob and weave, right? So with this, the reason this is not best practice is because it's floating in the ether, right? So this is showing as 3-pack, which would be better if they were to apply it onto the actual calendar, or putting it as packaging behind, or showing me 3, right? Where it's showing me 1 and then showing me 2 kind of folded out behind it. If I go down a little bit further, which I probably wouldn't do as a shopper, I wouldn't do that. Now, the only reason that I would know that where these sellers are from is because of Helium 10, right? So I see China, 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 US. And if you don't have Helium 10 or any other plugin, Data Dive, Jungle Scout, Smart Scout, all the data tools that will show you this kind of stuff, you wouldn't know that. Now, if any of these was made in the US, was to be made in the US, that would be a huge value prop that you'd want to say very clearly on your main hero image, especially in 2025, especially with the state of the world right now. And especially there's the search term made in USA or made in America has a lot of traffic. So when people see that and you're a higher price, people are willing to pay more money for something that's made in the US.
John, this has been a super valuable episode. I love to leave the audience with 3 actionable takeaways from every episode. So here are the 3 that I noted here, John. Number 1 is if you are not testing your main image on an ongoing basis, you are behind the times. And I think over the next 5 years, as Amazon continues to get more and more competitive, it's going to be the brand owners that are willing to double down on these small things that have massive outputs. I love looking for leverage opportunities, and the main image is the biggest leverage opportunity that you have on Amazon, which goes into action item number 2. Do you want the solution for higher conversion rate and lower ad spend, right? And better improved tacos? Guess what the fix is and the silver bullet is? Main image. For all the reasons that you mentioned early on, John, you don't get wasted ad spend. They thought they were getting this, your example with the desk calendar, they thought they were getting this. They weren't getting that. The flavors or the scents, all of the above, right? Yep. So your main image actually directly impacts your PPC spend and its efficiency. And that was an unlock that I had today. And then my third and final action item is you should always be leveraging different AI tools to just like exponentially be able to scale out your test, right? And sometimes it's just like good is good enough, right? Just get the test out there and experiment with it. So John, maybe we can twist your arm and have you come back for a part 2 where we can actually diagnose, like, how do you run these tests? How do you identify like what is actually significant or not? And how do you come up, like, how are you using AI to scale up and, like Mr. Beast, test hundreds of thumbnails before you even release the video?
Totally.
Right? So with that being said, John, final thing for you here is we're going to skip all the other questions. Well, let's do this real quick. Give me your favorite book.
My favorite book is right behind me. It's $100 Million Leads. No, sorry, $100 Million Offers. That's the one.
Alex Hormozy.
One
of my favorite. All right. Okay, question number 2, your favorite AI tool.
I can't answer that. I pay for every tool. I use Claude for writing. I use Perplexity with DeepSeek for search. I use ChatGPT for everyday stuff. I use Google Gemini now for deep search, and I pay for Google Workspace anyway. Google has Notebook LM, which I use, which is free. Canva has Canva AI built inside of it. I use AI with everything. So I use. There's no silver bullet, right, to quote you, on AI tools. So if you just pay for ChatGPT, yeah, you can make yourself look like an action figure in a box that everyone was doing for the last couple of weeks or so. But Claude writes better. And Perplexity with DeepSeek, because it's hosted in the US on their servers. So you don't have to worry about privacy concerns with China and DeepSeek. Perplexity is leaps and bounds better than almost everybody for search and deep research. But then Gemini is better if you're in the Google Workspace because you can connect your G Drive natively to it and it takes notes and everything like that. So have everything, play with everything.
Love it. Love it. Great recommendations. All right. Finally, who is somebody that you've been impressed with in the e-com space? Somebody that's blown your mind doing some cool things in the e-com space.
So we talked about her before, and it's Ritu Java. Man, that lady is, I say that with the utmost respect, is genius. Like the things that I've seen her talk about at conferences and shows and events, and with Google App Scripts, I had no idea that Google App Scripts was a thing until I heard Ritu speak. And the amount of powerful things you can do with an app script without even having to go to like Zapier or Make. And the fact that she said, if my team does something more than 3 times repeated, we automate it, totally blew my mind and makes me want to automate my entire life.
Oh, I love it. She is a great speaker, always on the cutting edge of AI tools in the Ecomm space. I'd recommend other people follow her as well. Now, John,
Absolutely.
If people want to follow you, they want to learn more about you, your services you offer, where can people reach out to you and follow you at?
Yeah. I'm on LinkedIn. I just hit 20,000 followers. So I kind of slowed down a little bit once I hit 20,000, but I post daily on there, all tips, tricks, all that kind of stuff. PickFu, Aspinall at pickfu.com, or Aspie, GoAspie, GoASPI.com, John at GoAspie.com. Should you need any help with merchandising, creative consulting, all that kind of stuff. I'm not a graphic designer, but my Canva mockups can compete with most graphic designers. I will say that. So
love it. John, you've been a wealth of knowledge. Thanks for taking your time to come on the show today.
Thanks so much for having me. I will have to give a shout out to Stephen Pope for connecting us, because Stephen is a very large mentor for me and sparked me being an influencer in the space. So I always got to give props where props are due.
Awesome. Yes, indeed. Stephen, we had a great podcast episode talking about image optimization, which then he spun me on to you, which I'm grateful for. So
yeah, he's awesome.
Awesome. Well, John, thanks again for your time.
Thanks, Josh.
Thank you for listening. Visit ecommbreakthrough.com for more information. If you've enjoyed today's episode, the best way you can show your appreciation is by clicking the subscribe button and quickly leaving a review. See you again next time.